Which fictional character's death have you not gotten over? Mike from Breaking Bad. Involved in a bad life but the love for his granddaughter. Heartbreaking. That's why I love Better Call Saul. I watched Breaking Bad all in one binge. I'm so glad they made Better Call Saul so I can watch it and now look forward to the finale season. Brooks from The Shawshank Redemption. Brooks was here. I doubt they'll kick up any fuss, not for an old crook like me. Leslie Burke from Bridge to Terabithia. This one ducked me up as a kid. I was depressed for days. As a teen, I rented a DVD from the local store. It was very common to find cheap rentals of bootleg movies in India at the time. The label on the DVD clearly said Narnia, but it turned out to be this movie. I felt terrible for days after having watched it. Edit, just realizing how many of you poor souls were traumatized as a child by a group of bootleggers who mistook Bridge to Terabithia for the Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian. R.I.P. What was his name? Wash. The pilot in Firefly. Guess him getting too old. Littlefoot's mom yo. Probably the saddest kids movie death ever. It was way too much. I felt like I lost my own mom that day. Always wanted to eat a tree star. The way Spike eats the big circle of weeds. I wanted to eat grass like that as a kid. Yep. The guy hatches, eats everything in sight, then takes a nap. Spike is my spirit animal. Oberyn Martell. Oh god, his death was one of the worst in the entire series. Hughes from Full Metal Alchemist, I really liked him. His Japanese va apparently also died from cancer this year. It's a terrible day for rain. The funeral gets me every time. Mordin Solus had to be me. Someone else might have gotten it wrong. I made a mistake first time in the series he used the word I. His work on the genophage ducked him up so much he had to detach himself from his work completely. The sniper from Saving Private Ryan. He was a guy that was doing his absolute best and gave it his all. When the tower was bombed that he was in, my heart sunk, but that's war. Edit. Thank you all so much. Thank you for sharing all of your stories too. I've been sitting in bed reading them all morning. The first time I watched Saving Private Ryan, it was in my sophomore year in history class and I cried. All of the deaths in that movie were heartbreaking. I thought the medic was worse when they ask him tell us how to fix you and then he cries out for his mom. Are any of them bleeding worse than the others? Yeah, this one down here. Oh my god. My liver. The recognition on the actor's face is just heartbreaking. Giovanni Ribisi crushed that role. Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. They had to kill Yondu, otherwise the Battle of Wakanda would been over in seconds. David Tennant as Doctor Who. I don't want to go. I loved Matt Smith too, don't get me wrong, but I still shed a few tears anytime I watched that episode. For me it was the Ninth Doctor. And how he had to explain to Rose what was going on, that he took too much energy in to survive, just when they were falling in love. Oh, and before I go, don't say that. Rose. Before I go, I just want to tell you you were fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And do you know what? Rose shakes her head. So was I, The wife from Up. Yeah damn, that movie didn't waste any time in tearing your heart out. Arthur Morgan. And Lenny. Duck, I miss Lenny. Honestly, Hosea's death was the most heartbreaking for me. It all went downhill from when he died. My horse Gary. When Arthur whispers thank you. I was already sad because I knew it was the end. When my girl died and Arthur said thank you, I wept. Then when he gave his hat to John, you're my brother, to Dutch not giving a duck about you. Then it's just Arthur, abandoned, left to face the sunrise as he draws his last breath, exactly how he said he'd like to die earlier in the game. Not only a graphically extraordinary game, probably one of the best narratives I've played or watched. 1110. Man, duck this thread. Keeps reading. Lu Ten, Uncle Iroh's son. Avatar: The Last Airbender. While we didn't see his death firsthand, I felt like I was mourning a son of my own when Iron sang that song. Still tears me up. Apparently Mako had his diagnosis by the time he recorded that episode. It feels so raw and real because the emotion fueling it really is. Well, that is wonderful trivia that makes things even more sad. The best thing they did with Korra was name a character after him. John Coffey. From the Green Mile. Please don't put the mask on me, I'm scared of the dark. BT 7274 edit, as quite a few have mentioned below. We could technically argue BT isn't dead due to the binary message at the end of the Master campaign. But, we all know we lost a part of ourselves at the end of that game. Protocol 3, protect the pilot. Trust me. Mufasa. This is a childhood trauma for so many kids. As a child, you think your parents are indestructible. They're immortal, they can't die and will always protect you. And then you have this little lion baby who runs up to the corpse of his father and just doesn't even understand at first. And then you realize that the big, strong lion dad is dead. On a similar note, Littlefoot's mom from The Land Before Time. The scene where he mistakes his shadows for her still makes me tear up just thinking about it. Peter from What We Do in the Shadows. Poor Peter, sizzled to a crisp. Our friend was killed in a tragic daylight accident. The dog's in Where the Red Fern Grows. Sirius Black. He lived in an abusive household for almost 17 years, then fought dark wizards for a few years, then put in Azkaban, without a trial, and accusing him of associating with his abusive family he ran away from and killing the family he ran towards, and tormented with dementors for 12 years, 1 year of reliving his worst memories and then bam. Dies. He deserved a good life. I remember reading this bit when the book first came out and feeling crushed for that exact reason, and for Harry losing such an important parent figure in connection to his own parents' frown. Tadashi Hamada from Big Hero 6. I literally cried. Grandma Coco from the Disney movie Coco. That film got me weeping from start to end. I was fine through Coco right up until the end, and then I was just sobbing for a long time even after the credits rolled. Yeah, me too. When they put down Coco's picture, I was like, oh damn it Pixar, you did it again, and started crying. The song in the end is so moving as well. The Dog in I Am Legend, absolutely heartbreaking to watch that scene. Data. I was handling it okay, then his brother started singing a halting and broken version of Blue Skies and I was just crushed. Edit, it came out 20 years ago. Is it still a spoiler? Maximus from Gladiator. I would say his family. He got exactly the death he wanted after he was betrayed. Revenge, and it being in front of all of Rome was A+, then immediately back with his family in the afterlife. Artax. Edit. Wow. Thank you for the awards. Also yup, we are all scarred for life because of this scene. Not only did he die, but he died because he was sad. And a true couldn't afford to grieve for him until after he got out of the swamps. Stupid Swamp of Sadness. Anyone seen Grave of the Fireflies? Yes, that movie was ducking heartbreaking. And made even worse when you know it was based on a true story, written out of guilt by the Big Brother. Fives, Clone Wars. Him and Hardcase too. Honestly, just every clone that died throughout the series hits hard. True Life. Always felt bad to watch how some of those poor clones died, even if they were unnamed. Electrocution, getting chopped in half, losing their helmets in space, friendly fire, etc. Oh god, the last one reminded me of the Umbara arc, specifically this part. The image of Rex taking off the face mask, only to see his own dead face looking back at him, is one of the most haunting things I've seen from Star Wars. Lenny from Of Mice and Men, tell me about the rabbits, George.